And welcome back to Talk Smack with Mac. On this episode, I'm going to be sitting down with my brother Travis, and we're talking Lakers basketball, people. We're talking about offseason moves that they made, all the hate that they've been getting for trading for Russell Westbrook, and the no spacing, and all that other bullshit.
Are you ready? Let's talk smack.
Trav, what's up, bro?
Ooh. Lakers are winning the championship, bro.
Pull the mic over a little bit to your left, to your right. Yeah, there you go. There we go. Now we're cooking with grease.
You
in
said
this
the wrong
bitch.
way the first time.
Yeah, man, it's going to be exciting. So the Lakers come out, they make all these moves, they trade for Westbrook. Hopefully they get rid of Schroeder. You know what I'm saying? We don't want that guy.
Well, I think he's going to end up going somewhere for nothing right now, bro. You got to think. They just bought out Kemba, and then the Knicks signed Kemba, and that was probably his best shot at getting a contract. He's looking like he should have taken that 4-year, $84 million during the season, and the Lakers dodged a fucking bullet by him declining that. I don't know, bro. I'm excited again. I know we had this same conversation last year when the roster was built, but I don't think there was any issues with the roster.
It was just health.
Injuries. Yeah. And then that made it so where there was no chemistry built. So by the time playoffs came, like, it was just hard. And then on top of that, people were still hurt. Mm-hmm. But even now, I feel like this roster on paper is like a million times better. Because you basically can put a lineup with Russ, Bron, and AD, and then you have two guys that can shoot 40% on, behind them. Mm-hmm. So, not to say all the game is 3-point shooting, but at the end of the day, like, if the problem people had with that big three was spacing, which I think is bullshit. Bron has literally been progressing every year shooting threes.
Bron shot like 37% from three,
and he
last
shoots
year.
High volume.
Yeah,
he
from
pulls
half
them
court.
motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's ridiculous if they think Bron and Russell Westbrook aren't going to get to the fucking rim because there's not enough spacing on the team. They must not really know who they're talking about.
They must not know who Russell Westbrook is. Yeah, Bron, he's getting a little bit older. He's saving those jumps. You know what I'm saying? He's got a few left in him. Russell Westbrook is jumping from the free throw line every time.
I feel like Bron, anytime we need a bucket, Bron gets to the rim, gets fouled, or gets the bucket, or both. So it's that's not even necessarily true. He doesn't have to do it every time. But I think this time around, we have shooters on our team that are shooters. Yeah, KCP was, but at the same time, he's on the Lakers for a long time, and we've seen his ups and his downs. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it was more down than up. Again, almost every guy we signed, as far as shooting goes, we just looked it up yesterday. They all shoot 40%.
Above 40%. And they're consistent, though. You give these guys 5 shots per game, they're making 2. So, it's not one game, they're 5 for 5, and the next game, they're 0 for 8.
So it's we're going to get what we need. Because then again, we had Kuzma taking a lot of our threes last year. That motherfucker was breaking a lot of them. Mm-hmm. We have guys that are tried and true. People are talking about the age on our team. But when you brought Bron in, that window changes. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with the fact that there's kind of older people on the team. And it's got a lot of guys that know how to win or that have been around people that have won. I think it's almost going to make it better.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. Pelinka, I think, did his thing when he built this roster. Plus, there's still a few spots left. I don't think
we don't know who we could get.
You still got Dennis Schroeder getting moved around somewhere. I don't think we could get anybody too crazy because money, but I don't know, bro.
There's a lot of players, a lot of veterans out there that will come and sign minimal contracts to play for the Lakers. Let me go over the Lakers roster right now, and we could just kind of talk about what was assembled over this summer. So we got Carmelo Anthony, Trevor Ariza, Kent Bazemore, Anthony Davis, Wayne Ellington, Marc Gasol, THT, Dwight Howard, LeBron James, Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn, and Russell Westbrook. You have some guys right there that are just perfect. The fact that we were able to re-sign THT to a 3-year deal was absolutely phenomenal. This kid has all the talent in the world, shown that he doesn't care if Bron and AD are in the game or not. He's going to make a difference. His wingspan is ridiculous. 6'5", ridiculous wingspan. Could get to the rim at will. Was making his threes. Sky's the limit for this guy. He's been in the league for 3 years.
Yeah, he's only
2 years,
20.
3 years, and he's 20. So He's getting valuable experience playing with 3 of the all-time great players ever.
And that's somebody that we can, as far as future building. But I think a big thing on this roster that we should talk about is, like, there's a lot of offense that can be ran on its own in this roster. It's not like last year where if Braun wasn't there to initiate it, it didn't work. And then we were betting on Dennis Schroeder, and he failed us every time.
He didn't do what he was supposed to do.
So it's like you have a bunch of guys on here that can get their own bucket, that can put the ball on the court, score. You have Melo that is a bucket getter. Melo will go get you a mid-range right when you need it, or he's going to hit that 3. You know what I mean? Malik Monk, he had games last year where he shot 11 for 14, put up 28 points off the bench. Like, that's valuable fucking time and minutes. And these are all guys that are going to be getting the easiest looks in their career.
You're playing with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook.
But you got to think, like, in my opinion, I think Russ is going to be getting the easiest looks of his career because even when he played with KD and James Harden, it was the baby Thunder. They weren't established, so it wasn't like they weren't as skillful as they were, like, as scary as it would have been if it would have been that same team 5 years later. You know what I'm saying? But right now you have, like, Russ is third option on our team. When was the last time Russ was the third option? Yeah. Normally he's the second, but for
he's never been the third option.
He's been the first, the main thing. Yeah. So now you have Russ who can really just play as an energy player, but like an elite, different level of an energy player. And I say that in the sense of he's going to be running around, he's going to be making those back cuts, he's going to be getting those putbacks because he's not the focal point. He doesn't always have to initiate. And then he's not going to constantly have the big guy pull up on him because they know he's going to try to fucking get to the rim. Because then it's like, all right, you have to pick your poison. Now you're going to leave either Dwight Howard or AD or somebody wide open in the paint around. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to get... It's going to be interesting to watch, bro. It's going to be crazy. I really think we're going to have motherfuckers, like, going off just because how our roster is built. And then on top of that, I think AD's poised for his revenge season, bro. People were talking. Literally, AD
he had a horrible season last year. He was hurt the entire time, but he had a bad season. He never was able to get standards.
Yeah, he was never able to get fully in tune, and that's what I mean. I think he's poised to go off this year. Yeah. Especially with how this roster is built. I feel like this roster is built for him to flourish more than anybody else. Like, I think he's the most important piece in this roster. And then Braun, then Russ, and then so on and so forth. Elaborate. I just think so because, one, like, at the end of the day, that's our future. AD's the guy that we're building around for the years to come. Braun is old. You know, Braun is going to be here, but he's older. So you have to start going that way if they want any type of success post-LeBron era. And, like, you in this league, you have to already be thinking about that because it's going to be upon us sooner than we think. But on top of that, it's just... he's the generational talent on our team. Like, yeah, LeBron James is, but again, it's twilight years. You want to save his health.
Yeah, preserve that guy. Westbrook. You don't want them flying around going 100 miles an hour if you have a primed Anthony Davis ready to take that load.
In my opinion, though, a primed Anthony Davis hitting on all calibers, and I would just take that playoff run where we won the finals, take that for, what we're going to do it. In my opinion, bro, that's like the best player in the league. Easily best two-way player in the league, and I will argue that with any fucking buddy. If we're just going to go two-way, there's nobody that plays better offense and defense than AD in this fucking league, in my opinion. You could say Giannis, but I think a lot of Giannis is
like... You Kawhi up there, too.
But just the way AD does it. It's not... okay, he's locking down. It's like, oh, we need to steal this play so I can seal the game. I'm gonna get it. Oh, I need to hit this 3. I'm gonna hit it.
Yeah, like, that first season with Anthony Davis on the Lakers,
it was fucking magical, ready to go. Bro.
Yeah, magical.
Watching all the lobs, like, and then having Dwight Howard. How many times in the first 5 seconds of the game we were getting a lob? Remember that shit?
JaVale right would tip the ball, and then it would be JaVale sprinting to the bucket and Braun throwing a hoop. Hoop to him. So it was magical, man. So I want to ask you, who are some of these guys on the team that you think, obviously we got Westbrook, we got Braun, we got AD, but who are some of those other guys that you think is going to step up and be key for this team?
Dwight Howard. I think the pick and roll with Dwight Howard and Russ, Dwight Howard and Braun is going to be really big this year. Last year, I think we're lacking a dominant big man in the paint with the centers we are getting. In my opinion, Andre Drummond, he's a bitch. I don't think he's good.
He just didn't do it.
I never watched his games. I was a stat reader on him, and he always would sell me. And then when I finally started watching him, I was like, I get it. You're not good. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, no. So I just think last year we were lacking just a real dominant big man. Well,
physical presence.
We had Marc Gasol. I don't think Marc Gasol ever fully got to play what we signed him for because of the lacking in other people. I love Montrezl Harrell. I didn't think he was what we needed at time. Don't get me wrong. He brought us big minutes, big plays, and there was times where he was the catalyst on our offense. But at the same time, what Dwight Howard brought to us was sorely missed and needed last season, and I think that. And now you don't have JaVale either, so now we're gonna be putting our eggs in that Dwight Howard basket a lot, and I think we're gonna see like a really, really crazy season from him. Because
how many minutes do you think he'll get? So there's 48 minutes in the game, and we have Dwight Howard, Marc Gasol, and Anthony Davis, who said he'll play center more this year. I'm thinking if you give Dwight and Marc Gasol about 18 to 20 minutes each, and then AD will play the last 12
close as a center.
Minutes, around there at center.
That's literally, you took the words out my fucking mouth right there. I think you have Dwight Howard start. Well, nah, you can't. No, you have Marc. You have Marc start. You need that. There's not enough floor spacers in our starting lineup. You need Marc.
The thing with Marc is that he's not as athletic as he once was, which he never really was the most athletic. He's always prided himself on being a very smart basketball, being in the right place at the right time. When you have the athleticism of Bron, Westbrook, and AD, you don't need Dwight in the game. You have Marc sit in the corner, sit at the top, draw their big man out, draw their center out, and leave room for these guys to operate. Now, at the same time, say they go to Dwight Howard route. You throw Dwight into the game, that's so much physical presence and athleticism that we've seen absolutely dominated in the playoffs.
I mean, in my opinion, that's a lockdown defensive lineup because
Westbrook, Bron, AD, Dwight, and then who would be the other starter for this team? I don't think it's going to be THT because we need his ball handling and initiation off the bench. It could be...
probably Wayne.
Did we sign Wesley Matthews?
So he's still on the roster? I think he's still out there, if I'm not mistaken.
So there's Wesley Matthews.
I'd love to get Wesley Matthews.
Wayne Ellington.
Wayne Ellington is who I'm thinking.
He could take that other spot. Ken Bazemore, Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza played on that Heat team. Him playing the 2-guard position, that would give us so much size and athleticism. Yeah, Trevor Ariza is a little bit older, but he still fucking brings it, and he could bust.
Here's
from
the
three.
thing: is as much as people want to complain about or say anything about age, like the focal points of our offense are gonna be that big three. So it's not like these guys are gonna be standing in the corner though, waiting for.
Say for instance, on defense, Trevor Ariza is guarding somebody else's shooting guard. At this point in his career, is he going to be able to follow around all those screens and cuts? But I think when you're playing with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Westbrook, and Dwight Howard, you are not going to get beat on defense.
Well, because you always are going to have somebody behind you that's going to pick up that mistake. And you got to think all these guys are playing in a Frank Vogel defensive system, which I fully believe in.
Last year, number one defense, right, with all the injuries.
And then on top of that, like it's a trend in his career. When he played for the Pacers, they were up there in defense always. Like, Frank does that. So
Frank the Tank, baby.
I think we have enough defensive pieces, and just when you take, like you said, Russ, I'm never gonna say has been super prided on his defense, but with the effort he plays with, it doesn't matter. He plays good defense.
Let's put it like this: Westbrook is accustomed to going out there and putting up damn near a near triple-double or triple-double every season for the last 4 or 5 years. All right, now the Lakers are saying, hey, Westbrook, we don't need you to get 25, man. Go out there and get 15 points. Score when we need you. Do the backdoor cuts. Grab the alley-oops. We don't need you to get 12 boards. Get 8. Save some of that explosion. Play more defense. And then do you really think if Westbrook is going to the Lakers with Bron, AD, Dwight Howard, mind you, LeBron James was playing some of the best defense in the last maybe 5, 6, 7 years last year before he got hurt. He was playing phenomenal defense.
I always remember Westbrook when he locked down Giannis last season.
Oh, man. Bron was looking phenomenal before the injury. So people knock on LeBron because of the Phoenix series, but mind you, he had an injury, sprained ankle, was supposed to be out. He was playing on one leg.
And on top of that, he was playing on one leg without AD. So you couldn't even be like, oh, here. And on top of that, if you want to bring that fucking series back up,
Andre Drummond was starting at center. That hurts too.
Bro. AD had fucking he was beating the fuck out of the Suns before he got hurt. He was hooping them out, and I think we had a chance to take them. If we're healthy, I really think we go to the finals.
Shit out of the
we
Suns.
go to the finals. You take the same injuries, and then us healthy, and not even just to say we needed the injuries, but we go to the finals easy. And I don't think the Bucks beat us.
I don't think so
I
either.
think we have too much defensive pieces because you can switch Giannis on Bron and AD back and forth. It don't matter, and they're both gonna fucking put him. They're too physical. When I seen Bron put his body on Giannis and Giannis stopped moving, I was like, "What the fuck?" Because I didn't think that would happen.
Ridiculously strong.
And but whatever.
And then you have the quote unquote. I'm not gonna say Giannis stopper, but arguably the only person in the league that could give Giannis fits one-on-one is Anthony Davis, a healthy Anthony Davis. Not taking any away from Giannis, that dude is a phenomenal player. Looked like an absolute beast in the finals. But Anthony Davis is different.
And then the thing with our team, though, is okay, Giannis is going to look like that, but we wouldn't have let anybody else look crazy. Drew Holiday wouldn't have hooped on that Lakers team last year. Alex Caruso would have socked him in the mouth before he let that shit happen.
That's neither here or there, but this upcoming season, man, there's some other teams in the West, other teams in the East that look great. It seems like the NBA is gearing back towards that Big Three era again. You got the Nets. They're hopefully going to be healthy. They looked damn near unstoppable with just Kevin Durant by himself. So you throw in a healthy Kyrie. James Harden has two legs instead of being with the one-leg bandit last year in the playoffs. That Nets team looks absolutely phenomenal. Then you have the defending champions, the Bucks. They look absolutely great.
They're going to look the same.
But then you got the Warriors coming back. Man, if Klay Thompson could stay healthy, you add Klay Thompson to that team. James Wiseman has another year under his belt, getting a little bit better, getting healthy. Steph Curry is an absolute force. We all know that.
It's crazy, though.
There's a lot of good teams, man.
There is, but if we're really going with the West right now, especially after how last season panned out,
I think we're beating the hell out of everybody. The only team, and I will stick to this, if healthy, those Nuggets look amazing. The Nuggets scare me, but then at the same time, seeing what Dwight Howard did to Jokic, and we have Dwight Howard again, it doesn't scare me as much. And then, they got fucking Aaron Gordon, right? No, bro. I'm always going to Gordon is like their fourth man. Michael Porter Jr. is that
Yeah,
guy.
And then they got Jamal Murray. They got hoopers.
They do. How much of the season is Jamal Murray going to miss? How much of the season is Kawhi Leonard going to miss?
Kawhi still hasn't signed anywhere.
Kawhi hasn't signed. I'm assuming he's going back to the Clippers. He
nowhere else to go.
Yeah, he partially torn his ACL. I wonder how much that is going to slow him down. And then Jamal Murray, how is he going to come back from the ACL?
I think the Suns. I think the Suns' window was last year.
Oh, the Suns got lucky. I didn't even think they were going to make the playoffs. They definitely performed a lot better than I thought they were going to. But come on, man. Let's be honest. Healthy Lakers would have kicked them out.
Trailblazers
Healthy Nuggets would have kicked them out. That was their chance. And then for Chris Paul to go back there and sign for 3 years, so he's playing there until he's 40, this dude is never going to get a ring, man.
Players are... Fuck, what was I going to say? Trailblazers, they're non-factors now. That roster hasn't made any improvements. The Jazz, I think their regular season. Good.
The Jazz didn't do anything but re-sign the players that make them
Hassan
above
Whiteside.
average.
They're gonna take out Rudy Gobert to put in Hassan Whiteside. That's a nasty rotation right there. Nonetheless, so I really, bro, the West doesn't look as deep as it normally looks either. That Lakers team, I think, blows a lot of those teams out the water. Like you said, the Nuggets being our biggest issue and health.
Yeah.
But if we're still talking about rosters, that fucking Chicago Bulls front office, praise them. Yeah. They're geniuses. That plan that they had panned out and the fucking roster they ended out with, you couldn't be more happy with the starting lineup of fucking Lonzo, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan,
Vucevic, and Mary Markkinen.
And then on top of that,
they have a chance.
You got Caruso at 6 man, who has proved himself.
Don't forget about Kobe White. That boy gets buckets,
bro. But just that starting 5, and they're young. It's a young starting 5. It's not even like. It's not like the Lakers where we have a really good roster, but it's like, hey, bro, you got a good roster for like the Bulls can really build off that for years to come,
build
and
that
that's going to be
build that team going forward.
One of the most exciting teams to watch next year. I'm hyped for that.
Yeah, man. Well, let's get a record prediction. We're going back to 82 game season next year. How many games do you see the Lakers winning?
Probably, I'm gonna say probably like 60 plus.
I'm thinking they're getting 60 wins, man. I think they all have a chip on their shoulder. Braun was hurt. AD was hurt. Westbrook still hasn't won. So these guys are coming out to eat.
And it's just going to be different. Again, they're all going to get easy baskets, what they're not used to. AD, in my opinion, like so far in this league, AD hasn't gotten his flowers. He has in a sense, but I think that man is going to go out there looking for an MVP. At the least defensive player of the year. So I think
he needs one of those. He needs one of the 2 accolades.
So I think his belt. I think they're gonna go out there and he's gonna be playing phenomenal, bro. We're gonna see an AD where he has probably the least pressure on his shoulders too. Again, with how this roster is built around him. When we won the finals 2 years ago, everybody said, "Oh, you guys got Braun, AD, and a bunch of scrubs." Mm-hmm. Last season, everyone was fucking hurt.
Yeah.
So this year, with how this team is built, and if everybody is healthy, you know, we got knocked out a while ago, so they all have more than enough of an offseason and shit.
Getting including that hyperbaric chamber.
Braun has never had this much of an offseason in his first year with the Lakers.
But he had a torn groin, so he was recovering from that. So he has a full offseason to just recover and get focused.
I'm telling you, bro. I think our biggest adversary next season is going to be the Nets. And for some reason, man, as much as they scare me, they don't scare me. It's like Kyrie might just...
Because our X factor is, one, Kyrie, he might just not play basketball.
Like, bro, I don't feel like playing today. Kyrie, it's game 7 of the finals. Well, I don't feel
I got a barbecue to go to at my sister's house.
Want to see my pops. All right.
But our biggest X factor over most teams is the fact that we have Anthony Davis, that big presence in the middle that's generational talent.
Bringing Dwight Howard back, too, that gives us all the physicality in the world. Just him. I feel like he brings a presence that's different than most players, and then that sets a precedent in the team. That makes it to where AD's like, okay, which AD's already going to do that. But now Braun is like, oh, shit, okay. Now Russ is going to be playing on a team where defense is very impertinent, and they fucking are like, like, they hold you accountable on that. Not to say he ever, whatever, but I think we're going to see a different defensive player in Russ. Mm-hmm. And again, you could play up on people. You could play hard on people. Okay, you get blown by. You're going to have AD back there. You're going to have Dwight back there to catch that motherfucker. Not to say you want to, you know what I mean? So it gives you more, I don't know, bro. I think we're going to hoop out.
The rotation of the 3 big men, you got Dwight, AD, and Marc Gasol. Those are our 3 main big guys on this roster, and all of those guys are defensive geniuses. Dwight Howard, he has the IQ out of this world. Marc Gasol, IQ out of this world, and AD is just that guy. So the fact that we have that safety, that middle linebacker back there to make sure everybody is in place, talking, communicating, hey, watch the backdoor cuts, watch the pick and roll, all of that stuff, this team is poised to make a big run next year. Because and it's championship or bust, for sure.
It's like... People are going to say we lost out on a lot of defense, losing the players we did. Personally, I think Schroeder was a pesky defender. I think Russ...
You can't say he's any better than Westbrook on defense.
Exactly.
And then, we did lose guys like Alex Caruso and KCP. Those are great guys.
But at the same time, like, it's not like we've filled in their spots with defensive scrubs. And then... What I will say, though, is what we lost in defense, we made up for in offensive
firepower.
Tenfold.
Yes.
10 fucking fold.
You know, Alex Caruso isn't coming out dropping 25 on your head the way Malik Monk can.
Exactly.
The way Kendrick Nunn can. Nunn will come off the bench and put up 35 points. Quick.
Fucking, you have Carmelo, who...
That's what he's done his whole life.
And he's been given... for the last 2 seasons, he's been giving the Blazers a solid, 13...
And he was clutch. He was making clutch shots.
And that's what people need to realize is that's what the Lakers need more than anything. They need a consistent offensive dudes that, okay, Braun and AD are out. And even now, I'm assuming there's going to always be a time where Bron, AD, or Russ is in. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, though, you have people on our team where I'm not worried. Our second unit is nasty. You have Malik Monk. You have a Malik Monk and fucking Dwight Howard pick and roll. Shit like that. Like,
I could see like times when Bron and AD are on the bench and you have Westbrook in there with 4 shooters and you just unleash that man. Take the leash off his ass and say, go.
Especially you got to think like it's all timing in a game when you know like the other team's starting to get a little slower. You could feel it. All right, Russ, go out there and run. I've watched a Russell Westbrook team do that to the Lakers before. It was like maybe about 2 minutes left till halftime. We're kind of like, they're starting to gear down a little bit, ready for halftime, and then they just let Russ in, and he just was running everywhere, bro. He scored on us like 5 times before fucking halftime was over.
Yeah, Westbrook is that guy, man. He doesn't get enough respect on his name.
The fact that people were trying to convince motherfuckers that getting Russell Westbrook next to AD and LeBron was a bad move was like, what the fuck? It didn't even make sense, bro.
Non-basketball people, man.
They're like, they should get Buddy Hield because he can shoot and all that matters is threes. I'm like, dog, you guys are
You
idiots.
need to stop watching basketball, start watching basketball, excuse me, because obviously you do not pay attention to what things happen.
Last 3 people that won the finals have been subpar 3-point shooting teams.
When the Lakers won the finals, we talk about this all the time. We had a rotation, we had a unit of Rajon Rondo, LeBron James, and Dwight Howard in the game. Where the fuck is this shooting coming from? You can win championships without elite shooting everywhere.
It's starting to show through that, like, that's what you need. You need to have some smash mouth shit in there, bro. You need to have somebody that's like bringing that shit to you.
The Warriors' run was so great because they had 2 of the greatest shooters ever, and then you add Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you have 2 of the greatest shooters ever, and then Kevin Durant, who is one of the best from everywhere.
And then not to take anything away, but it was also an offense that has never been seen before. Mm-hmm. No motherfucker, bro. They were setting 9 screens while Clay and Steph were just running, and Draymond Green's just in the middle, just waiting for him to be open.
Find you.
Bow, bow.
Yep.
Like motherfuckers didn't know how to adapt to that. Obviously, bringing in KD made it impossible to adapt to it. But you take it with a grain of salt. They never get KD. People learn that system some, and it's not going to take their success away completely. But then that's when you're like, okay, you don't need 3-point shooting. I feel like when they made that super team, people were just desperate, and that's what they felt like they needed. But it's like, bro, it's hard. You're not going to compete with that when Steph is dropping 7 a night, 7 threes a night and shit, like on average. You know what I mean? I think the Lakers did it right, bro.
Man. Hey, and Rob Pelinka, we trust.
Shit.
We've been sticking with this guy for years. He's done a phenomenal job assembling this team and getting us ready to compete for a championship year in and year out. So hats off to Rob Pelinka.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, Lakers is going to be interesting. I'm sure I'm going to get you back on the pod throughout the season. We're going to talk our shit. But yeah, man, go Lakers.